So shall we start with the prayer? Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sada Shiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram. So with the blessings of Sri Prabhuji, let us start this session of Madalasa Self-Knowledge Talks. Okay. So I trust, oh, Jai Shri, yeah, I forgot. So I trust all of us have gone through the Hari Om Jai Shri. I trust all of us have gone through the talks, and as per the, shall we go as per the questions, and we shall share our understanding on that.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm late.
No problem. Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question regarding talk number 6 was, what is inner pilgrimage? Rajni ji, you want to dive into it?
Okay. The inner pilgrimage is the knowledge, removing the ignorance and diving deep into who am I. So for that, you need the guru, and that is the inner pilgrimage. When I don't go outside, when I remove my ignorance, and ignorance is removed only through knowledge, and knowledge by the realized master. So that is an inner journey.
Okay. Sushma ji, what is inner pilgrimage?
हरिओम.
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 इनर पिलग्रिमेज हमारी अंदर की यात्रा है. जैसे हम पहले तीर्थ यात्रा करने जाते थे, तो वहां पे सद्गुरु मिलते थे, ज्ञानी मिलते थे, तो उनके हमें दर्शन करना और उनसे ज्ञान प्राप्त करके हमारा अविद्या को दूर करना, ज्ञानता को दूर करके हमें अपनी अंदर हु एम आई, हम कौन है, इसकी जानना की अंदर की यात्रा है इनर पिलग्रिमेज.
Jai Shri.
Already we are pure. Already the self is pure. To realize I'm a pure self by asking who am I and going deep inside myself is my recording in progress. And we have Atma Jyoti inside by Atma Nigraha, and we can recognize our Atma Linga, and this will be our realization, and that's our inner journey.
Atma Nigraha means what?
Ade nange control of the Atma anta. Is it Atma Nigraha is controlling the other thoughts?
Atma Nigraha, has that word been used by Prabhuji?
He has used it once in that talk.
जी यूज किया है.
अच्छा.
हाँ, वो
इसलिए
कि उन्होंने बोला इनर यात्रा करेंगे तो हमारे अंदर जो पवित्र या प्योरिटी है, जिसको कोई टच नहीं कर सकता, वह आत्मलिंगा है, जिसको कोई करप्ट नहीं कर सकता.
आत्मलिंगा इज फाइन सुषमा जी. आत्मा क्या निग्रह
यूज ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Purna, he has used it. Do endless inner journey and realize your Atma Jyoti, Atma Nigraha tanu. Ask others.
Does anyone recall?
I don't know whether he spoke about us. I mean, use the term Atma Nigraha, but I think if he's meant, it is well established in the Atma, probably.
True. Malti ji, it could be Mano Nigraha. Atma ka kya Nigraha?
Yeah.
Atma, you
know. I know.
Tip of the tongue also.
हाँ, निग्रह मीन्स मेरे को नहीं समझ आया कि क्या हो सकता है. हाँ, निग्रह मुझे नहीं समझ आया कि क्या हो सकता है. जय श्री.
तो बिल्कुल.
Yeah. It must be Mano Nigraha. It must be Mano Nigraha.
हाँ. मनोनिग्रह में भी। हाँ, तीर्थ करने से तो प्योरिटी से के साथ साथ ज्ञानीज का दर्शन होने से हम क्वेश्चन अराइज होता है, हु एम आई, मैं कौन हूँ, ये जानने इस क्वेश्चन जब अराइज होता है तब हमारा अंदर का तीर्थ स्टार्ट होता है। तब हम तीर्थ में अपनी यात्रा शुरू करते हैं, इनर जर्नी की तीर्थ, या हम कहेंगे अंदर की तीर्थ यात्रा हमारी शुरू हुई। यही इसका प्रभु जी का मतलब था यहाँ पे।
Sheetal, you want to share what is inner pilgrimage? And we also have another follow-up question. Describe your own inner pilgrimage, whatever.
Yes, yes.
Sheetal is going now. No, you're not audible. No, Raja, you're not audible. Welcome, Gayatri ji.
Hariom Purnima ji.
Sheetal not audible, Sheetal.
Okay, Nisha, let her correct it. You go with the answer if you wish. What is your inner pilgrimage? What is inner pilgrimage and what is yours?
पूर्णिमा जी, इससे मैं बोलूं, मेरा जो पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है, करेक्ट, हाँ, वो जैसा गुरुजी ने बोला, ये बिल्कुल राइट है कि हमने बहुत सारी गुरु के मिलने से पहले मैंने और सुषमा जी की, हम दोनों की फैमिलीज ने बहुत सारी तीर्थ यात्राएं शुरू की थी। तीर्थ यात्रा मीन्स पर्टिकुलर कम्युनिटी से रिलेटेड नॉट। ये हमने सिख अमृतसर, जो सिखों का पवित्र मंदिर है, अमृतसर मालूम है ना, गुरुद्वारा
मालूम है, हम
गोल्डन टेम्पल एंड बौद्धिस्ट, क्या बोलते हैं बौद्धिस्ट लोग का, ये
बोध गया एंड ऑल दैट, यू हैड गॉन।
बोध गया ना, ये धर्मस्थला नहीं धर्मशाला, हाँ, बौद्धिस्ट का बहुत बड़ा वहां पर वो है, उनका टेम्पल नहीं बोलते, उन लोग क्या बोलते हैं उसको,
स्तूपा,
बिल्कुल याद नहीं याद है, टेम्पल नहीं बोलते उन लोग, हाँ, पर और उसके पहले हमने केदारनाथ, बद्रीनाथ, इस तरीके से बहुत सारी रियली जर्नी किया, आउटर जर्नी, इसको सच्ची बोलेंगे हम, ये आउटर जर्नी हमने किया था। हमें नहीं पता था, इसके जस्ट बाद हमको गुरु मिलेंगे, गुरु मिले, उन्होंने कहा कि ये आपकी ये तीर्थ यात्रा हो रही थी ना, डिफरेंट प्लेसेस में, डिफरेंट कम्युनिटीज में जाके आप कर रहे थे दर्शन और श्रद्धा से जा रहे थे, तो ये गुरु मिलने का साइन होता है। जब आपकी इनर प्योरिटी होती है तब आपको गुरु मिलते हैं। तब ये आपकी, उन्होंने ये भी कहा आपकी बाहर की यात्रा स्टॉप कीजिए।
अच्छा,
हाँ, ये उन्होंने इंडिकेट किया था। तो रियली ये बहुत हैप्पी मोमेंट्स था हमारे लिए। हमको सचमुच तीर्थ यात्रा का मीनिंग समझ में आया। इवन गंगा में हरिद्वार जाने से हम लोग गंगा में स्नान भी किया, हरिद्वार जाकर।
सब लोग किए हैं शायद।
बहुत ही, हाँ, यही बता। हाँ,
now you don't feel like that's necessary, मालती जी? गुरुजी ने बताया, लेकिन आपको ऐसा लगता है कि
हाँ, उसके बाद नहीं, उसके बाद मुझे करेक्ट समझ में आया पूर्णिमा जी, ये मस्ट है, जरूर करना चाहिए। शायद अब वो तो हमें नहीं पता कि इसके बाद सबको सदगुरु मिलते ही होंगे, ये मैं नहीं जानती, मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन मुझे तो मिले, बस मैं तो हैप्पी हूँ। मतलब मेरा तीर्थ जाना सक्सेस हुआ।
हाँ, तो अभी जाने का मन नहीं है?
अब नहीं। ठीक है, कभी जाते हैं पूर्णिमा, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं जाते हैं, लेकिन हाँ, वो जो फर्स्ट स्टार्टिंग में थी, जाना है, अच्छा गोल्डन वो भी जाना है, गुरुद्वारा भी जाना है, बौद्धिस्ट टेम्पल भी जाना है, कोई हिंदू टेम्पल है, केदारनाथ, जैन टेम्पल है तो जैन टेम्पल भी सब जगह जाते थे, बस जाना है। बट अभी वो ट्रस्ट नहीं है अब कि अब जाना चाहिए। इनर जर्नी स्टार्ट होने के बाद वो ट्रस्ट नहीं रहे।
ठीक है। शीतल, are you able to talk now? Sheetal?
Even
Yeah,
I used
Purnima
to whomever I met, I would ask,
Ah. Hello. What happened? I myself have frozen. Hello? Hello? I think my connection is somewhere. Something is wrong with my. Really something happened to it. Oh yeah, I'm back.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry, I missed what all you were saying. Jayshree was saying something, I missed it because I was not there.
no, I was a lost soul looking for realization through meditation, thinking I have to silence my mind all the time and not thinking I have to question who am I. As Prabhuji had said, I would see a bright light and the whole thing becoming illuminated and myself very peaceful. I thought I have attained this, but again the thoughts would keep coming. Now I have done that for 10 to 15 years, sitting in some place for half an hour. I'm not much of a traveler. And Shirdi, I wanted to go Shirdi very badly, but I have had back pain of 15, 20 years for a long time, which prevented me from traveling. Then one day, Purnima's mother told me, why do you want to go to Shirdi? See, there is in Tyagraj Nagar itself, there is a Duni, there is a Shirdi temple. You just go. She took me one day to that temple. Same statue is there even in Shirdi. You pray here, same Duni, same fire has come from there. Do your pradakshina here. And that was my Shirdi travel. So wherever you are, there you are. That here and now we know how to go about it. That was my inner journey travel all these years.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Sheetal?
Yeah, Purnima ji. Yeah, you can listen, right? ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. The inner journey is highly individualistic, but it is guided by the same the tattva, the Guru Tattva. The Guru Tattva, it's like a compass which will always guide us. It is a compass which is there internally, which is like fixed. Then it so happened that I was reading a lot of Advaita books. I was attending a lot of sessions from various international as well as known realized masters from the entire this Advaita circle. Then I was having very small doubts where I was not getting clearer what do you say, pointers. Then one day I just saw on YouTube Gurudeva's video, which was talking about actually the Sadguru only. Then after that, I slowly daily I started to see the videos, and I got and then parallelly when I was hearing and reading other things, I was getting immaculate clarity after that. Then I thought this is something else. Then I started to search where he is and all, and I got this information by Gayatri ji. Then it is like I have never looked back. I believe I felt like, I have come home. That was my inner journey.
Wonderful. So nice. Yeah, just watching the videos online, you came here.
Yeah, watching the videos. And on the 2019 Guru Purnima day, our family deity, that is Narsimha Saraswati Maharaj, that is Datta Guru's second incarnation. His name is Narsimha Saraswati, and I never knew that Gurudeva's name is Narsimha Prabhu. Actually, I didn't know that. I only used to see Prabhuji, and that's what I used to go there, listen to him, come back, read something. And I was like shocked. On that day, I have, literally got, Ananda Bhashpa, like anything, like Narasimha is the name. Oh my God. Then I realized this is you who was calling from inside, and it is you who is outside. And that union, that was coming home for me.
Wonderful. So that's a nice point, no? That is what your what is inside you, is manifested outside you, and that is
Yeah.
beautifully said. Yeah, Sheetal, very nice. Rajni ji, you haven't told about your personal journey. You want to share anything?
Yes. I have had the spiritual knowledge for quite some time now, actually. And we had a neighbor. She was in the same complex as me. And we met Guruji. She wanted to have a satsang by Guruji. And she called me over. And then I went over there. Guruji had a long stick. And I was hit by the stick quite a few times, in the sense, who am I? Because
Was
hit
it
in
the
sense-
Trishula or the stick?
No, he whenever I used to go wrong, who am I, and all that. So it was not a hit. It was just tapping on me, and he says, "Who are you? Who are you?" And he went on saying that.
Oh.
And Guru Ma, she said, probably you were a little hard on her. And then he said, no. I said, no, you were not hard on me. So that was it. So from there it started. And I got a lot of clarity as to the jnana, a lot of clarity. So today, if you ask me the clarity, definitely the clarity is crystal clear. But the only challenge is the mind. The mind is still wavers. For me, for it is like, we have to ripen the fruit, and that is very, very suffocating. So that is a time, if you let it ripen, probably as Nisha ji, she wrote that if you let it ripen, it will ripe. But if you go looking out for some other distractions, then you have lost it. So it is how you let it ripen the fruit. That is one thing.
Same, Guruji, who should let it ripen?
Ourselves, after the clarity. I know. I was even told that if you move from one room to another room, ask yourself where was the need for it. So it is to that extent.
No, I didn't get that.
No, like I'm sitting in this room and there is some talk going on or something. So it is my interest which takes me outside world or outside my family. So you just need to check on yourself, where was the need for you to go? Today we have so many diversions. We want to make friends, or we want to go social. So fine, there is a worldly need to some extent, but is that a need? Is that really needed? So how? We need to ask ourselves.
Any thoughts on that? Nisha ji, you want to say something?
I think I've shared earlier also my meeting. I've been with the scriptural studies for a while, but of course meeting Prabhuji was just an accident. A friend of mine used to take up these workshops, taking you to a theta level. It's basically yogic practices, So one of the directors over there mentioned to her about Prabhuji, and she said, have you heard of this gentleman? You must go and meet him, And then she discussed with me, and I said, oh, we must go and meet. And we took an appointment, to meet. So it was our Wednesday class here with one Swami Shivaprakash Nandji. We finished all of that and went and met him. Gayatri ji was, of course, there. And he took us through a meditation, which was something else, and I thought only I felt it, kind of thing. But I mean, we said, could we start classes with you? Could we come, because he heard all of us were literally 25, some of them 30, 35 years with Vedic studies. So I said, oh, that's very long. And where have you all reached, And he also said many a times you end up in a spiritual ego for many, many lifetimes. And that kind of irked, you know, I mean, you can be with this Shastra Vasana and not really, you know, moving forward. That meditation that, you know, he didn't say meditation, he just said, I need to figure out where you all are, whether you're, you know, kind of eligible to attend the class, kind of thing. And that session was, I mean, immediately after that, I knew like he's my Karna Guru. For me, though I've attended many, you know, Jivan Mukta sessions here, there, and all of that, my dream and my desire was to, you know, that Upanishad, sit close to the master and learn, you know, clarify all your doubts. And I really feel blessed.
All of us, yeah.
Yeah.
So my vasana for this outer journey took a big beating when I went to Amarnath Yatra.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite a hazardous journey, and there was horrible rains. And up in the Himalayas at 13,000 feet, when it rains, it rains. You know, it means business. It was so scary, and the road was so slippery, and all the horses and stuff, they were slippery and slipping all the time, and we were stuck there. And night we had to sleep in some tents on, you know, up on the this one, and nothing about it was holy according to me. it was sheer torture. So the whole pleasure of going in and seeing that whatever that God manifested in the linga, for my bad luck, that linga had also this one, it had melted by then, you know, the God had unmanifested by the time I went there with all my problems. So that's how it is. See, in the beginning of this talk also, Prabhuji says, no, you feel that there is too much crowd, there is so much rush, and there is also so much dirt is there, so much trouble is there. Why do you want to go on a pilgrimage? So I think you take a few knocks like that and you realize that God really isn't to be sought somewhere outside. No, that you come to a conclusion like that. So like Malkiji said, all the vasana of going out and seeing something has kind of gone. Not that I won't go if it's a very nice, well-organized, I might go, but it is definitely not a driving force anymore. So inner pilgrimage has started, thanks to Prabhuji. So that's the most wonderful part of that physical need, that is reduced, no? That is the best part. The need for doing something physically on so many fronts has dropped drastically because of this inner journey.
When did you really meet with Prabhuji?
5 years ago, I think, 2016.
I met him
Talks
2017
were going on in Yamuna Ji's house here near my house. See, for me, everything like came on a platter. It was very near. I could walk up to that house. I could hear just 1.5 hours in a week, you know, kya jata hai kind of thing. So I used to go like that. So that vasana has caught on, fortunately, for me. Okay, the another question I had jotted down is why is it said that one cannot bathe in the same river twice? Why did I put this question? Yeah,
mainly because of the physical physical Tirtha Yatra.
Tirtha Yatra. Yeah. Okay. Have you heard this quotation that you cannot bathe in the same river twice?
Yes.
So can you share your understanding on it? Rajni ji, you want to go?
Yeah, because the moment we step into the water, it has moved on. It has just moved on. In the sense, you are never in the same water, even for a second. In fact, Prabhuji even goes on to say the body is not the same, even the next moment. So the body is also moved on. So the water is also moved on.
So it is
not the same.
Huh?
It is not the same water.
It's not the same water. Anybody wants to add to that? You can't bathe in the same river twice. In fact, it is said you can't bathe in the same river even once. No?
Yeah.
So what? Somebody is laughing. Rajni and Sheetal also laughed. Why did you laugh? Smile.
Well, as you said, nobody can even bathe for once. You know, that is what makes more. I mean, I feel it's more nearer to me because once it has been told to us what is our Nija Swarupa, then where is the bathing and all? If you go to that level, then not even once.
Okay,
That's
like
why.
that. So what I was, Malti ji, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं? Anybody else wants to share something on this point of view that you can't bathe in the same river even once?
हाँ ठीक है, रजनी जी ने करेक्ट आंसर दिया, ठीक,
हाँ,
वही
है.
हाँ.
So it's all about, yeah, because the time is flowing, the river is flowing, and you're also changing. So you can't even for a moment, it is not the river is not still, that kind of stuff, no? So if, is there a present moment? I want to discuss this. You're also saying something about the present moment, no, Nisha ji?
Yeah.
Is there a present moment? If it's there, can you catch it?
I don't think so, because the next second has happened. So I don't think you can catch the present moment. You can just be.
How? If you can't catch it, how to be?
See, catching happens in the mind. Being is just you're flowing with that, not really knowing or being totally aware the flow is happening.
Okay. Is there a present moment?
We can we be in the present moment by not thinking of the future, not thinking of the past, then you are there. Don't go either backwards or forwards.
No,
See,
all that is,
just be
have
there.
experienced it.
In the realm of time and space, what Jayashree ji said, applies, because okay, your thoughts are in the moment, but precisely the present moment, I don't think you can catch it, because before you know, it's moved on, like the flowing river.
So if there is no present moment, what is there?
There is only presence.
Is there.
Only presence.
So now Guruji has like brainwashed all of us properly. There is only the presence. There is no present moment, because the concept of time itself is this thing.
Not there.
It's in Maya, in the realm of Maya, isn't it? Time and space themselves are in the realm of, they are not absolute realities. So what there is only presence. Correct. That was what we have to arrive at. Okay. Yeah. How can we differentiate between self and reflected self? Who wants to go with that? Sushma ji, aap bolenge? Self and reflected self. What is the difference?
जी हाँ,
बोलिए.
सेल्फ मतलब परमात्मा केवल एक ही है, और रिफ्लेक्टेड सेल्फ हम अपने आप को VMI से कनेक्ट करते हैं, तो इंडिविजुअल सोल रिफ्लेक्टेड सोल है, जो कि परमानेंट नहीं है, बदलती चेंज होती.
कौन सा चेंज होता है? रिफ्लेक्टेड सोल.
सेल्फ को हम सिर्फ डिस्क्रिमिनेट करके ही जान सकते हैं.
ओके.
या फिर उदाहरण से जैसे उसको समझेंगे कि सन सेल्फ है या परमात्मा, और बॉडी माइंड इंटेलेक्ट या जो भी चीजें दिख रही हैं हमको, पेड़ पौधे पत्थर, ये सब रिफ्लेक्टेड कॉन्शियसनेस है.
करेक्ट. या एनीबॉडी वांट्स टू ऐड टू दैट? बराबर है सुषमा जी, perfectly. Who wants to add to that? How can you differentiate between the self and reflected self? What is the difference, first of all? And how can you recognize? How can we recognize the self? So of course, the whole talk is about that.
Self is changeless. शरीर मन बुद्धि चेंज होने वाला है. जो चेंज है वो रिफ्लेक्टेड कॉन्शियसनेस है.
Okay.
Unchanging reality, self, consciousness.
Okay. I was just looking at one more point, if somebody can add.
Yeah,
Body,
mind and intellect. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Body,
ahead.
mind, and intellect appears to be alive and conscious, but it is derived consciousness only. But one who is witnessing this alone is pure consciousness. I am the Sakshi, which is that is the difference between pure consciousness and the reflected consciousness.
consciousness.
Very good. Nisha ji, you were saying something?
Same thing, because the body, mind, and intellect
Ah.
appear to be conscious, and that is through the reflected consciousness. One which is watching, observing, that is the original pure consciousness.
So the reflected consciousness is dependent on this.
Yes.
So that's the major difference. It's not an independent reality.
हाँ, dependent.
It's not an independent reality, and it's a dependent reality. Right?
Yes.
Gayatri, you want to say something? Madam is very quiet today. Okay.
Nothing much, Purnima ji.
Okay. So, what is total objectivity? What is total objectivity? Rajni, you want to say?
Yeah. Total objectivity. That I am the consciousness is the total objectivity. But that is I am. Whereas the Maya, which is the appearance, is the, it is subject to the I am. Since I'm losing it someplace.
How do you achieve this total? First of all, what is total objectivity that Prabhuji talks about here, and how do you achieve that?
That is, you separate it completely.
Hmm.
That is the total objectivity. Whereas when you go, that is, can you see the mind? Yes, I can see the mind. So anything which you can see becomes the object, and the seer is the one, which is the subject. So the total objectivity is when you start saying, this is my body, this is my mind, and this is my intellect. So that happens to be the total objectivity.
Okay, correct. Anybody else?
So self-realization is the total objectivity.
Achieving total objectivity is self-realization. Correct.
Yeah,
Piece
it
of
is complete.
Object.
Yeah, she will tell me.
हाँ, ऑब्जेक्टिव जिसका अनुभव इंद्रियों से होता है, फाइव ऑर्गन्स जिनका अनुभव करता है, वो ऑब्जेक्टिव है. जो कुछ भी है, जो हमें दिखाई दे या नहीं भी दिखाई देता है, लेकिन फाइव ऑर्गन्स को, इसका एक्सपीरियंस फाइव ऑर्गन्स को है, वो ऑब्जेक्टिविटी है.
जो वो ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं, those are objects, what you can sense, taste, touch, smell, taste, yeah.
Object.
Yeah, fine. So whatever you can experience is an object, right?
Exactly, because not just through the sense organs, I mean, even others that you
Thought.
kind of thoughts, feelings,
Feelings.
yeah, all of that are also objective. So
Hmm.
everything other than the eye is objective.
Correct. So what is that objectivity that Prabhuji talks about?
जब हम पूरी तरह से आत्मा अनात्मा का विवेक को समझ जाते हैं कि ये आत्मा है, ये अनात्मा है, वही मतलब ऑब्जेक्ट को अलग कर लेते हैं, सेपरेट कर देते हैं कि ये सब्जेक्ट कुछ भी नहीं है, सिर्फ सब्जेक्ट ही है बस. वही टोटल ऑब्जेक्टिविटी है.
Correct. Yeah.
When it can be, in a very simple way, it can be told like when the total that is when the total subjectivity and the realization of the subjectivity is achieved, what is not subjective is actually, it does not need to be eliminated anymore. The discrimination has been done completely.
So what you are saying is the discrimination has to come from the pure intellect. I mean, it should be an intellectual discrimination, because you cannot separate it physically, right? That's what you're saying.
Intellectual, yeah, then it gets deepened and realization happens that, it is just like the banana, the inside, the fruit is inside, and as Gurudeva says, the peel is outside. That thing is like totally, crystal clear.
Correct.
That is, yeah.
So I have a nice example to share with you all. It might be repetition. If it's a repetition, please tell me. I will not do it. The story of the Princess of Kashi. Are you aware, Nisha, Rajni?
I've heard, but it
No,
would
we
be
would
nice to
love to
hear it
hear.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a prince, and he was from the kingdom of Vaishali. Okay, he was a little boy. When he was a little boy, the queen mother, she put up a fancy dress competition in her palace, and she dressed up little children, and she staged a play. Okay, it was a play of those times, and there was one role of a little princess. Okay, the princess of Kashi was the role.
Indeed.
And so she brought, she didn't find a proper child to play that role, little girl to play that role. So what she did was she dressed up her little son, the prince, as a princess, like we do to our children. You know, we make them wear all sorts of dresses. And she made him the princess of Kashi. And so that little prince played the role of the princess of Kashi. And then he was looking so beautiful and so cute that the mother, adoring mother, made a nice portrait of him. He called the artist of the palace and made the child sit there, and he drew a picture of the little boy. And then time passed. The picture was it hung in her palace in her chambers for some time, and then it went to a basement and it was stocked away in a gallery in the basement. So after 20 years, the prince grew up, and one day he was wandering in his cellar and he found this beautiful picture of a lovely little beautiful kid there, and he fell in love with the picture. He said, "Oh my God, it's such a beautiful girl. This is the girl I'm going to marry." Okay, so he fell in love with the princess of Kashi, and so the parents went on looking for brides for him. And the princesses from all over the country came, and they saw him, he saw them. They were all very qualified, very beautiful. But this boy went on rejecting each and every one. He was pining for this princess of Kashi. And so one day the minister, he figured out that something is wrong with this boy. He must be in love. So he took him aside one day and asked him, "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you looking at these beautiful princesses from everywhere?" So he confessed, "I have fallen in love with this princess, with this beautiful girl. I don't know who she is. I don't know where she is from. I don't even know, if she is somewhere, if she is accessible." So he said, "Oh, you saw somebody. Where did you see?" I said, "She's in a picture." "Where?" "In the cellar." Then something clicked in the minister's head. He said, "Oh, in the cellar? Come, let's see what's happening there." And so they went down and he unveiled that picture, and there was this little beautiful kid, the princess of Kashi. He said, so the prince of Vaishali said, "This is the girl I'm in love with." And so the minister started laughing. He burst out into laughter and said, "Oh my God, this is you, my dear. This is you." And he recalled the whole story of how the mother had dressed him up as the princess and made a picture of him. And the moment the minister told him that this is you, that veil dropped from this prince and he started laughing too. I said, "Oh my God, I was looking at the wrong, I was pining after something which is not there. It's me." So that instant, it dropped from him. That pining for something else dropped. Total objectivity, isn't it? That was when this prince achieved total objectivity. And in an instant, it dropped. So that is what we need to achieve here. We are being told, "You are that, I am that, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi." We're being told that so many times, so much gyan we are being given, yet we are not achieving that total objectivity. That princess of Kashi moment has to happen. So that is the total objectivity. When somebody says total objectivity, I remember this story. I mean, it's so simple now. When you hear the story, it is so simple. Oh my God, one instant and it's gone. So why can't that happen? Why isn't
Very
that
good.
happening yet?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the question. Why is the total objectivity not happening yet?
Somewhere, sometimes, I think so, we still take the world to be real. Probably we still get stuck up. So that is why the total objectivity does not happen. Because if my child is hurt, my child is hurt. Like, even if I know that he's not it's a karmic account, that is fair. But the pain is there. The pain for my child is very different. I may not even feel the pain For my neighbor's child, I would very objectively give them a solution. But when it comes to my child, in fact, my solution also would not be there. And I would be, it's a mother standing there. So that entanglement is still there, thinking the world is real. Why the entanglement? Still, because we might think that the world is real. Because that it has to be total objectivity when I 100% know this is unreal.
So why the entanglement still is a question that keeps coming up. So I think last class also we discussed, because now all the gyan that we have assimilated now and able to talk so much is still at the superficial level, at the conscious level. So until it goes down completely and seeps into the subconscious and all the vasanas are rewritten with this, it is still it will still be at that superficial level. That's all. So Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana all the time. But tell me frankly, has it gotten better? Any better? I mean, that extreme attachment and all, has it gotten?
Yeah, definitely it has gone better. Immediately the awareness comes in, immediately.
It's just a step behind, right? Yeah, correct. You're right.
I've noticed actually,
Huh?
like constantly being in the witness mode. I mean, you forget, you slip here and there, but that has helped me a great deal. Just looking at myself as an actress, playing the role.
Oh, good.
As many times as I can during the day. There are times that you slip, but that gives you there is a great peace, and I don't know, there's a sense of that bliss. Yeah, you're just enjoying the whole thing, like a dream. And constantly I apply the dream state,
Yes.
the dream state. When we wake up, we are never indulging in the dream. Why? So, when you're witnessing again, so why do I indulge in what is happening? This is just a dream, this is just a play of the divine. So that has helped me, that manana and nididhyasa there. Yeah.
Correct. Anybody else wants to share how you have applied or got back to this objectivity, mode? Like Nisha said, she applied, she thinks of it as a dream. Anything, any other tricks up your sleeve, people? What do you do? Yeah, that remembering that it's a dream does help a lot when it comes to, when it really hurts. It's this knowledge is what it should be applied, and it really, not that every moment you have to go through that feeling, that this is a drama, this is a dream. So Prabhuji always says, when you're in full action mode, you don't exist. Only the action is there.
Correct.
So only when you apply the values to whatever you're doing, I'm happy, I'm sad, this is good, this is bad. That is when you have to apply this, isn't it? That's when it should come to your rescue. This so that you can achieve objectivity. Hannah?
Definitely.
Maji? Yeah. Okay.
See, otherwise, when actions are happening and when you're engrossed in the action, it just happens.
Yeah.
Impressions don't get created there. You are, totally, in the action.
Correct.
As you said, only actions happen, the doership also is not there. You're engrossed.
Yeah.
So, the vasanas also, the impressions, it's only when we think about the past, it is from your vasanas, and again, you are, activating those vasanas.
Correct. So it's when you recall that you claim ownership and doership and all that. So it's always a post-mortem thing. So when the action is happening, it's all just happening. Yeah. Is Vairagya all about growing the beard and looking weird? If not, what is real Vairagya? Yeah, of course, it is not. The first answer to the first question is no, it is not about growing a beard and looking weird. So what is Vairagya? Is the next question.
Yeah, Vairagya is very beautiful actually, in the sense when I understand what is real, then my interaction also becomes very beautiful. It just goes on without me being attached on, like I play the role very beautifully. And Vairagya doesn't mean going and sitting in the corner, enjoying the play, also enjoying in the sense the just being, that's it. And Vairagya doesn't even mean that I don't have to interact with them or I have to be away from something, but just being that the play is going on and I'm a part of the play and that's it. But very understanding that this is just a play and I don't get entangled into it.
Okay, Sushma, what is Vairagya?
वैराग्य मीन्स हम किसी से जो भी हो रहा है उससे डिटैच होके ही करें. जैसे प्रभु जी कहते हैं कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करके आत्मनाथ, तो वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन व्यवहारिक जीवन में जैसे हम उसको यूज कर पा रहे हैं, उसको मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगी थोड़ा कि जो भी काम हम कर रहे हैं या पार्टी में है या कहीं भी है, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वैराग्य आ गया तो हम कहीं नहीं जाएंगे या कुछ नहीं करेंगे. हमको अगर समझ है कि ये सब एक रोल हम कर रहे हैं वर्ल्डली लाइफ में या व्यवहारिक जीवन में, और अपने आप को अगर हम जैसे इसको बोलूं साक्षी बनके, इवन हम मतलब इतना प्रैक्टिस अभी नहीं करें कि मतलब हमेशा याद रहे, पर अगर उस क्षण बाद में थोड़ी देर बाद में हमको ये रिमाइंड होता रहता है कि मैं साक्षी हूँ, ठीक हूँ, मैं यहाँ आया हूँ, ये व्यवहारिक के लिए जरूरी था, लेकिन मैं इसमें इन्वॉल्व नहीं हो रहे हूँ. इतना भी प्रैक्टिस अगर हमको है तो मीन्स हम इस चीज को समझ पा रहे हैं कि वैराग्य मीनिंग क्या है.
Correct. Jayashree, you want to say what is Vairagya?
Yeah. When earlier I used to expect appreciation for whatever good things for anyone, masala dosa, if I put it, I was expecting appreciation. Now, after being here, now I know I have done the job well. Okay? That's all. That's all. I don't want any appreciation. I am happy at that point. No expectations. My expectations have come down a lot. I'm happy with doing karma madbittu allige bitbit bandu. Just walking away from this action.
Very well said.
I'm very happy now. I'm very happy. Yara, if somebody scolds me, I don't attach any meaning to it. I don't know whether it is Vairagya. I think he's playing his role. Okay, as a role of a wife, I've received that scoldings. I'm not that. Okay, that's it. So that's how I'm stepping back. I'm stepping back.
Stepping back and watching yourself is Vairagya. Very well said, Jayashree. But one
Thank
thing,
you.
you said if I put a dosa or whatever, then you feel that you have done your work well.
Yes,
well.
I'm very.
What if it does not? What if it
No,
does
it is
well?
not. I did it. The work has been done well is where I take my satisfaction.
Not done well. If it goes wrong, what will you do?
Then also I'm not bothered. I will repair it. I'll repair it. I don't attach. I don't feel bad that I spoiled it or anything. I'll see how it can be rectified. Take action. Take action to rectify it and be satisfied with the outcome. That's it. I mean, not looking for the outcome. We want to do it well. We want to do the job well.
That well point is getting me hooked, getting a problem with me. Maybe I don't do it well all the time.
But
I do
it's not any
half-heartedly. But then am I going to kill myself?
It is not anybody's standard. It is not to anybody's standard. The job to be done well.
Yes. Best of your ability.
Best of our ability.
Probably it could be just adding like being there, the presence of mind. What happens, we are doing a job and my thoughts are somewhere, so just concentrating on that particular thought at that particular time could be
as she says, being mindfully present. Is a way of Vairagya.
Okay, Ketan?
Yeah. For example, if I am a telescope, if I am a telescope, which can see till Jupiter maximum, okay, that is to gauge the limitation of this tool and to try to do it till its best. And this energy, what we are getting, from where we are getting, when we know this from the Guru Vachana, that the one who is you are not the doer, as we have been, this is going on inside us, nanu na nembudu nanalla, nanu na nembudu nanalla. Then what happens is you become that beautiful tool, and that tool is actually it does not have the capacity to judge even itself. What will it judge others? Number one. And what happens is when you are the tool, you are not seeing like, array only I can see up to Jupiter, what can I do? You will never even brood on that, and you will be just happy. कितना वॉट मिले, कितना पावर है मेरे में, वो दे, उसको पता है, उसने जितना ही दिया है वो इतना कर रहे हैं, एंड दैट्स इट. यहाँ पे बस इतना सिंपल ही रहना है. सिंप्लिसिटी इज वैराग्य.
Very correct. Very nice. Very well said. Simplicity is vairagya. I like it a lot. Very nice. मालती जी, आप कुछ नहीं कहे अभी तक वैराग्य के बारे में.
सब लोग बहुत ब्यूटीफुल बोल रहे थे. रियली
अच्छा है ना सुनने.
हाँ, रियली डेली लाइफ में हम जो जीते हैं, जितना हम सिंपल होकर जीते हैं, वही वैराग्य है. वैराग्य को बहुत बहुत सारे कवर नहीं लगाना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम वैराग्य को ही कवर लगाते जाएंगे तो वो उसकी ब्यूटी खत्म हो जाएगी. ब्यूटी वो है आप क्या जीते हो, बस. जैसा ये सभी लोग यही बोल रहे हैं कि हम क्या जीते हैं वास्तव में, तो हम सही मायने में रियली में प्रभु जी की टीचिंग्स को समझ रहे हैं. और डिटैच होना, वैराग्य क्या है, ये सही मीनिंग वही. क्योंकि हमें मेरी ध्यास है डेली लाइफ में, क्योंकि हम तो गृहिणी हैं, महिलाएं हैं, हाउस होल्डर हैं, हमारे साथ तो चैलेंजेस हर फील्ड में आता है, हर पल में आता है. तो हम वास्तव में भूलते तो हैं कि हम साक्षी भाव हैं, कर्ता भाव भी आता है, हम बहुत जल्दी भूल भी जाते हैं. और हम डूअरशिप भी ले लेते हैं. बट ठीक है, फिर भी घड़ी घड़ी हमको याद आता है कि ऑब्जर्व करना है, साक्षी हूँ मैं, साक्षी हूँ. ठीक है, बस मैं नहीं समझती इससे ज्यादा कुछ सिंपल हो सकता है.
Whenever our ego is challenged, whenever we are pricked, that's when the discrimination has to happen. Correct. It's only in regard to your own self. Yeah. Only then the question of vairagya comes. It's a very personal point of view. Your vairagya may be different from my vairagya, but
no, how? I mean, per se vairagya as a value, it cannot be different. But how? Yeah. To what extent we can apply it might be.
Yeah. For me, wearing a cotton sari, cotton anything, as simple as that. Simplification may be my point of vairagya. For you, any dress is fine. You don't value that portion of it. For you, the vairagya point may be a different point, like that. Like that.
Okay. But the King Janaka was a Maharaja. He had everything. Yet he was in complete vairagya.
Jai Shri.
Yes.
कपड़े से आप वैराग्य को कैसे देख सकते हैं? हम कपड़े से, ड्रेसेस से वैराग्य का कोई रिलेशन नहीं है.
I know no relation है. Like I was thinking once some 2-3 months back आपने explain किया था वैराग्य का है. Unless आपने एक message मालती जी ने आपने you had written something in beautifully in which unless we are pricked by at our own point, then unless we are challenged by our own, if you take away, I don't want many things. I may want very few things in my stage of life here. But if you take away one small thing which I really need, then my question of discrimination, dispassion will come into the fore. I may not value silk dresses at this age. But if you take away my cotton sari, I'm not able to explain properly. Whatever is valuable to me, even at this age, if you take it away, then my vairagya will go down the bucket. I will say it is mine. I want it. I'm not able to explain.
I understand what it is. So at any time, we'll be attached to something or other. We'll be possessive about something or other.
Something.
But I think wanting to have if the needs have to be met. No.
Yes.
That much we can expect ourselves. We don't have to kill ourselves over little things like that, right? I don't know. What do you think?
What is in general life, what is a routine could be very different, and somebody could be, they could be very rich, and that is supposed of them wearing silks, so they wear silk, that's all fine. Somebody
Actually,
in the middle class, they are wearing a
Yeah.
nice ordinary suits or something, that is also fine with them.
ac-
So whatever is in their social circle, whatever is okay with them, it is fine. But if somebody takes away, then it should not be a discomfort for me. I am okay with
Yes.
whatever it is.
Okay.
actually मैं सोचती हूँ वैराग
हाँ.
मैच्योरिटी, जैसा आपका माइंड मैच्योर होता जाएगा ना, जितना आप अपलिफ्ट होते जाओगे, वो डेफिनेशन चेंज होती जाएगी. उसको बहुत कुछ बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. एटलीस्ट समझ सब रहे हैं कि वैराग्य क्या है, लेकिन सबके लेवल, माइंड के लेवल से वैराग्य की डेफिनेशन बदल जाएगी, बदलती ही जाती है.
करेक्ट. माइंड के लेवल से वैराग्य का डेफिनेशन बदलता जाता है. अब डिपेंडिंग ऑन आवर एवोल्यूशन. Is that what you are saying?
More than the physical level, the mental level attachments,
Correct,
when
correct.
they're challenged, then
Yeah, correct. Okay, good. Anything else if people want to add, or shall we move to the next question? So, real vairagya is to discriminate between Atma, Anatma, and abide with the Atma at all point of time. That's it. No?
That's
Right.
exactly I was thinking, because
Yeah.
actual vairagya comes from the viveka that we are not the body, mind, intellect.
Yes.
So I don't think what Jayashree ji was explaining was on to that understanding.
At one level, what she said is correct, but
Yeah, on one level.
Yeah.
But I also know people as they age, they are dispassionate genuinely
Yes.
about their desire, but not necessarily with discrimination, not necessarily with viveka, that they have lost interest in their dressing or this, that, and the other. It happens by age as well. But
because they have
not with
enough of it.
viveka, with the higher understanding, no.
Yeah, very true, very true.
There is an example for this in the discrimination video, wherein Gurudeva says that you should not leave it because the grapes are sour. You should.
Yeah,
he says this.
correct.
Yeah. So you should understand what is the real tattva behind it, and then you will not even want to get attached to it. That's
Correct.
what. Yeah.
So vairagya not because of frustration that you leave it, or because it's not available you leave it, or correct. Got it.
as Nishaji was speaking, I was speaking from the BMI point of view. Sorry. Yeah.
No, sorry. That is that.
no, sorry,
We have to start from
exactly.
where we are. We have to start from the level we are only. No, we have to start from BMI
Correct.
only.
Yeah.
Ultimately, in the intellect, all the sorting has. Even if you don't sort out your cupboard, sort it in your head. Okay. So next, Prabhuji talks about something called the philosopher's puzzle. Very interesting it is.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
How do I find out, like, I'm not dreaming?
Yeah.
So waking dream is there, and the dream is there. So which is the real? Is that the dream real, or is this a waking dream is real? So this is a philosophical puzzle.
Conundrum. Yeah. And Prabhuji says one can never be able to discriminate whether this waking dream is actually the sleeping dream, or the sleeping dream is the waking dream.
Is the real?
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, people, to this?
I mean, I may be off the point again. In a dream, say in a simple dreaming state, do you see yourself? I hear only my voice in my dreams. I have never seen myself physically or otherwise. What are your experiences in a dream? I just hear, I know I'm there, but I don't have any name and form in my dreams. Is it the same experience for everybody?
I'm saying number one, you may not remember all your dreams. Okay.
Okay, some dreams.
Yeah.
When I get up in the morning, I knew I was there in the dream. I knew I was there in that old house where all these things are happening. But I never see myself. I see my mother-in-law, I see my daughters, I see everybody in the dream. All people mostly in my dream are known
Because
people.
you're the subject.
But I never see my name and form there. I hear my voice.
Correct, because maybe because you're the subject, because as you stand now, you can't see yourself. No, I mean, except the,
Yeah, the 10th man. The 10th man. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe that. And also another thing is, in the dream, the ego, it takes another body, it takes a subtle body, and you can be completely different from what you are. You can be anything. You can be short, you can be huge, you can be terrible, you can be terrific, whatever. You need not be the way you are. You see yourself now. That is also there. No,
Yeah,
you take
the
a subtle
vasanas may
body,
project.
you project something else. But yeah, I know, I understand what you're saying. You don't really see yourself. You're on mute. So animatedly, she's saying something. Jayashree, you're on mute.
So all of you, please experience your dreams for a week and let me know next week whether you see yourself in your dream in any other form or anything like that. It's off the point still.
You just know that you are there. You're right, actually. You just know that you are there, but you don't really recall how you looked or how it. Yeah. So anyway, since a dream, how we easily dismiss that dream, we should be able to dismiss this also.
This
That's
dream.
the whole point. The whole point is that. What is common to the varieties of beings that appear in my dream? Again, the dream theme is going on. So many things appear in my dream. What is common to all of them? Sushma ji?
ड्रीम, जागृत स्वप्न और सुसुप्ति में कॉमन सिर्फ एक ही है, आई सेल्फ है जो
करेक्ट,
वही रहता है, बाकी तो सब मन का प्रोजेक्शन।
ठीक है। तो ड्रीम में जो सब आते हैं उसमें कॉमन क्या है, कॉमन चीज क्या है? That was a specific question. Anybody wants to?
ड्रीम में कॉमन
या
जो तीनों अवस्थाओं में एक ही रहता है ना।
ड्रीम अवस्था का बताइए। ड्रीम में सब जो आते हैं जी, क्या है उसमें कॉमन क्या है?
वो हमारी मन का प्रोजेक्शन है और कुछ।
They are all appearances and all projections of my mind.
Projections of mind.
Correct. That's the common thing. There nothing exists outside my mind. They are all inside my, what is that called? Chit Akasha, no? Chit Akash. In my mind. They're all in my mind. Chit Akash. So then next point is about some temporary connections. I mean, we have discussed all this. We have gone through all this. So what are these temporary connections and how am I relating to them now? Same things what we have discussed so far. All my outer connections are temporary connections.
Temporary.
Everything is just appearing and disappearing. Whereas in my mind, there's a connection, we want it to be permanent. Whereas, yeah, it has to be temporary. We know it is temporary, yet we try to make it a permanent. We try to hold on to some permanence in these temporary connections, right? Without that Atma, Anatma, Viveka, we do this, holding on to these connections. Okay, now spider and web car talk. Yeah. How am I different from the spider which spins its own web? I don't know. Is that question right?
Yes, it's a right question, Purnima ji.
Bolo. How am I different? Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, because the spider is not confused between the web it spins, whereas we with the projection that our mind is making, we are getting entangled with that.
Yeah.
Whereas the spider is very clear. It dissolves, the web dissolves in itself in the web. It's not getting trapped in the web. Whereas we are getting trapped in our projections.
Correct. So here the analogy is who is the spider here in the bigger picture? And smaller picture, I am the spider. In the bigger picture,
Paramatma.
Consciousness,
Paramatma.
and the web is the world, the manifested.
yeah. So Brahman never gets caught up in all this creation, in the projection and all that, whereas my own projection of myself is getting caught. Okay. What is the material cause and efficient cause of my world? So what is the material, what is the definition of material cause and what is the definition of, efficient cause? Can somebody give the clarity? What is the material cause?
Yeah, generally like a pot, a potter, he makes a pot. So the potter here is a creator, whereas the pot is the created. So that is the material, that is the matter. But
What
where is the
of the pot?
The potter, he is the creator,
Yeah.
and he creates the pot, Whereas the consciousness, there are no two things. The manifested is just, it was a projection of the consciousness itself. There are no two things that he does not create. He does not create, or he does not take some material, the consciousness, and makes the manifested. So the manifested is just a projection of the consciousness. So there are no two things to a consciousness. It is just, that is why when Prabhuji dissolves the world, he goes back, because it is just a projection which dissolves in the consciousness.
Karya Karana, both are the same.
Same. Karya Karana.
Anybody wants to say something about this? Material cause and efficient cause?
Efficient cause is material cause depends on the efficient cause.
Correct. Material cause is the dependent factor.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have more or less covered everything. Oh yeah, there is one more here. Are there many Atmas? I think we covered that. Are there many Atmas?
No.
Same thing, that pot, sunlight and pot example was given. What is Parabhakti and what is Aparabhakti? Yeah, this is a good one. Malti, you want to say Parabhakti or Aparabhakti?
Parabhakti, without desire, beyond names and forms and other things, वो पराभक्ति है, एब्सोल्यूट रियलिटी है ना. अपराभक्ति में इसको साकार भक्ति भी बोलते हैं, जो नेम और फॉर्म से शुरू होती है. किसी रूप में जो हमारी आसक्ति होती है, शिव हो, कृष्णा हो, रामा हो, वो भक्ति हमारी, वो विथ डिजायर होती है, उसमें हमारी डिजायर भी इंक्लूड होती है, वो अपरा भक्ति. करेक्ट.
ओके. एनीथिंग एल्स, शीतल?
Yeah. Now, Apara Bhakti is, as I see it, Apara Bhakti is mostly which is coming from your vasanas or from your previous impressions. Then from the point of how much maturity you have got, that is to accept the Brahma Vachana, the Brahma Jnana which Sadguru is giving, the maturity, if it is not there, still you are trying to find it out somewhere in the Apara Bhakti only, that is, creating Saguna, that is Saguna Upasana, very, very similar to that. Then actually, come se come to, we will put one thing which is not having mostly dimensions like a paduka or something like that, but we will surely have that ki I am in this upasana only. I'm still in this apara bhakti stage only. That maturity level, what I have inside is definitely evident. It is proportional to the vasanas and proportional to the total submission to the Atma Jnana that Sadhguru has given. Apara Bhakti is directly taking the, for example, to have the maturity to take Aham Brahmasmi is Parabhakti.
Apara.
Is to take, yeah,
Apara is the absolute. Para is the,
Relative.
yeah. So in
Para
my
is the
understanding,
absolute.
Huh?
No, para is the absolute.
Para is the
Para is-
absolute.
हाँ, para bhakti is
Para
the-
is the
para is the limited, apara is the absolute.
नहीं वो
Yeah, because
Paramatma.
aparokshanubhuti,
No.
Yeah.
Paramatma, para.
निशा जी आप उल्टा बोल रही है।
हाँ उल्टा बोल रहे हैं। प्रभु जी ने भी करेक्ट किया है उसको, पहले वो उन्होंने अपरा बोला था, फिर उसकी जगह परा यूज किया बाद में।
Nisha ji, we say Parabrahma.
Parabrahma.
Parabrahma is the
हाँ.
Brahman who is,
हाँ,
absolute Brahman. So
Yes,
Para
yes.
is,
Parabrahma.
yeah, it is beyond. Para is beyond. So when we get this fullness to the Brahma Vakya, which is totally, we are having it inside, like, we don't have to even say that I am this, then that is Parabhakti. And for that thing, the Shraddha in Sadguru and the Shraddha in scriptures is the decisive factor.
Aptavakya.
I still have a little doubt because even in aparokshanubhuti, aparoksha, apara, I think anyway we'll take it up with the Guruji. I still have a doubt on that.
आप कंफ्यूज हो रहे,
wait,
निशा जी आप कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं, वर्ड्स में कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं।
Means
आप-
not
हाँ,
we know you know the definition of paroksha, right?
Yeah,
So that which is not paroksha is aparoksha. That's it.
correct.
So para is the transcend. It's the absolute. That which is not the absolute is apara. That's it.
Okay.
Nisha ji, here, Paroksha is a pramana. It is an instance. It's a pramana. So, Aparoksha is the opposite of Paroksha here.
Means the opposite of whatever you are saying.
Yeah, these are the pramanas. So that is entirely different.
That
Okay.
suffix says it's an opposite value of whatever you're talking about. That's all.
Okay.
Para means that Parabrahman, Paramatma, that para is the absolute. So we shall ask Gayatri and we shall close for the day. Will you validate, Madam Gayatri, para and apara? Okay.
Everything has been covered.
No. Para,
Gayatri.
apara, confusion. So thoda resolve karo.
So, para and apara. What is your opinion? Based on that, I can say something.
No, I was saying apara is the absolute devotion and para was, on like Sagunopasan, like, it's the Parabhakti. So they were saying it is just, I have mixed up the whole thing, which the meaning of,
Apara bhakti is Saguna Upasana.
okay, and Parabhakti is the absolute.
Formless.
Okay.
That's all. That was the little confusion.
Yeah.
That's all. So we were saying para means that Parabrahma, Paramatma, you remember that and you
Okay.
You don't have to get confused. That's all. All right.
Also, Apara Vidya also she can remember.
Aparavidya. Aparavidya. Correct, Nisha.
Correct.
Aparavidya. Yeah, I think in the video once it was ulta bola hai Prabhuji. That's why there was some confusion.
नहीं, पूर्णिमा जी फिर करेक्शन किया है प्रभु जी ने, बाद में भी
correction-
अपरा भक्ति की जगह
correct,
लोअर लव यूज किया था उन्होंने।
Correct. Barabar. Okay. Anything else or can we close?
We'll close.
Can close.
Are we taking the Rishika next next
Sorry.
week? That's fine.
No.
Okay.
No. So I'm so sorry. You should have reminded me earlier, but it's good. Let's go with the Rishika Jnana Yagna. Yes. I'm so sorry, Sheetal. Please.
No, not at all, madam. Why are you saying sorry?
Completely. See, every
Illa,
week,
that was a nice flow which was going on. So it was beautiful the way the discussion was going.
okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
So in the Rishika Yagna today, I will be blessed to speak about one of the greatest Rishikas, Gargi Vachaknavi. Gargi Vachaknavi was the daughter of Vachakno Rishi, and she was pursuing the Vedic studies under her father's guidance. She is a prominent Brahmavadini and a great Vedic scholar. Her prominent shlokas have been included in the third Brahmana of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And this is very, very interesting because she starts discussing with one of the greatest Maharishis, Rishi Yajnavalkya. Once Janaka Maharaja organized a Vedic discussion where he announced a prize of 1,000 cows, and to which 10 grams of gold would be tied to the horns of each cow. And these cows would be the property of whomsoever wins the Vedic discussion. Many scholars had come, and Gargi also went there, taking the permission of her father, that is her guru. Then Gargi was dumbstruck by seeing the depth of knowledge of Yajnavalkya. At the same time, she was not perturbed, and she saw many Vedic scholars were getting defeated one by one. When Gargi's turn came, she challenged Yajnavalkya by putting one of the most deepest questions in Vedanta, that is the cause of the universe. And she has, categorically stated that I will put such a, I will use arrows which will be very painful to you. Then Yajnavalkya smiles and says that you're welcome to, ask the questions. When she starts to ask these questions, we have mostly with the Viveka Chudamani Gurdeva has very elaborately taken all this, so it makes us very, very stated in this position to understand this. The entire universe is made up of 5 elements, the Panchabhutas. When we resolve this when we resolve this entire universe, that is the Panchabhutas, by discrimination of Anatma, then finally it is resolved into what is the cause or the Karana of this universe. When you take the microcosm or the macrocosm and start omitting from gross to fine to finer layers of the matter, as in Viveka Chudamani, the talks where the koshas and resolve from the gross to the subtlest kosha. This subtlest kosha becomes the cause of the previous grosser koshas. Similarly, when we understand this discussion with deep intuit, we arrive at an understanding of the cause or the karana of the universe. And she asks him questions which are very, very in depth. They have a lot of categorically. She has asked in one by one, like what is beyond the earth, what is in between the earth, what is on top of the earth. Then Yajnavalkya says it is surrounded by water. Then she asks, what is this surrounded by? And a very beautiful clause which has been used by her, which after she used, it became the very tool to understand the very fabric which is surrounding the universe. She says, Otascha protascha. Always she will say. So it is like the fabric, the universe is a fabric, and the threads are woven in the form of a warp and a woof. That is cross stitch and a horizontal stitch. That is how the universe is, made up of threads of, subtle matter. And she goes till a point, asking all these questions. She goes till a point where she touches what is the cause of Brahman, she asks. Then Yajnavalkya says that stop, because this is not a part of this Brahmana's discussion. This sixth Brahmana is going to end. This Vedantic discussion is limited to sixth Brahmana, where you are not going to discuss the inference and the anatma. You are not going to merge them. So later on in the fourth and the fifth chapters or Brahmanas of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, these all things were in detail told. And by listening to Yajnavalkya's words, because internally she considers Yajnavalkya as her teacher. Inside, like we have Ekalavya was considering Dronacharya. She was considering him as, her master, her Sadguru, and she takes that as a stopper for her and bows down and says that I will again come back and I will challenge you on this in the fifth Brahmana. That is the beauty of Gargi's and Yajnavalkya's Samvada. Thank you so much for this beautiful and blessed opportunity.
Very nice. That was so beautiful. Yeah, I never knew much about this. So this Rishi Jnana Yajna is
Beautiful, Sheetalji. Very beautiful. Yeah.
very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
for sharing.
Yeah. Nisha, you carry on. You said you wanted to go, na? So next week,
Thank you. Hari Om all.
Hari Om. Carry on. Subbalakshmi
Hari Om.
madam will share Rishika Jnana Yajna next week. Then we'll all take turns, okay? We'll choose one Rishika and we can talk about it. So let's close with the prayer. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma mritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Guru Charanarpanamastu. Thank you all. It was nice.
Om.